Hi everyone, Chef Todd with you back again. Welcome back into my kitchen. You've been spending a lot of time here this week because I promised you that we would spend a lot of time together. It was a tough week. How'd you do for Thanksgiving? I saw in our Carefree Cooks community, I saw some of the most impressive holiday meals that I've ever seen. And they were from all over the world too, because again, only Thanksgiving here in the US, but people are being thankful for having great cooking skills everywhere and bringing friends and family around the table. Really, really impressive. So nicely done to everybody out there. One of the words that I loved seeing typed in all the comments that have been sent to me over the last few days was best ever. I heard so many best evers that you wouldn't believe. And each time I read a best ever, like this huge ear-to-ear smile would break out on my face. Whether you figured out for the first time how to make a really good roux and your gravy was the best ever. Whether you made a stock this year and your gravy was the best ever. Maybe you brined your turkey as a lot of people did. The people that got in touch with my holiday cooking success course were the ones that were making Duchess potatoes for the first time ever, and they were the best ever, and pies for the first time ever, and they were the best ever. I loved it. Thank you so much for sending all those notices to me. But today, it's leftovers day. we are looking in the refrigerator. We have used up every piece of Tupperware that we have. We've got things stacked on top of each other, and we got to figure out what to do with the stuff rather than just let it go bad in the refrigerator, let it decline day after day. And I'll tell you where this all comes from. And again, it's another story as a chef at a large hospital and at the National Security Agency when we were feeding thousands of people. But I told you last week, I think it was, that when I was a chef at the hospital, it was a community organization. We would open the doors to anyone and everyone that wanted to come in for Thanksgiving. It was a community service. So as the chef, I had no idea if we're going to have 100 people or 5,000. So generally I had leftovers. And in searching for a way to use these leftovers for thousands of people, what I really wanted to do was just throw it all together into one dish, cook it off and make something really good. But not everything works. I'm not going to put cranberry sauce in a casserole until I became aware of an Italian opera star from the 1890s. Actually, I learned the dish and then I researched it and I found it was an Italian opera star from the 1890s. This is Luisa. Luisa solved my leftovers problem. Do you know what Luisa's last name is? This is Luisa Tetrazzini. Luisa Tetrazzini was an Italian opera star in the 1890s to the 1920s. She was a rock star of opera stars. There obviously wasn't rock back then, but Luisa was worldly famous, and she was a resident of the Palace Hotel in San Francisco. She lived there most of the time, and the chef at the Palace Hotel in 1908 was a chef named Ernest Abrogast. And Ernest created this dish, this tetrazzini, and named it after her. Now, I can tell you from personal experience, when you're a chef and you name a dish after a woman, you've got a thing for her. I'm pretty sure that Ernest really had a thing for Luisa Tetrazzini. When I was going to culinary school, do you know how many dishes I named a la Heather? Heather's such and such, Heather's scallops, shrimp and white sauce a la Heather. Everything was named after Heather. I know it. I've been there. So I think Ernesto had a thing for Luisa. I have a thing for Luisa now also because she solves all of my leftover problems. And today I'm going to throw it all together for you in a turkey tetrazzini. Now, anything can be tetrazzinied. I don't think that's a verb, but you've heard of tuna tetrazzini, chicken tetrazzini. It's done with seafood a lot of times, shrimp or scallops or crab. Generally, it's a casserole dish. It's an American invention, as I just told you, from California. It's poultry or seafood, usually mushrooms in a cream sauce, and sometimes cream cheese or other cheeses. But the good thing about it is there really is no universal standard for this kind of dish. You can put anything you want in it, which as a chef with hundreds of people's worth of leftovers at the hospital, what? I can put anything in it? Even green beans? Even bits of corn? Yes, you can put anything in it. So my turkey tetrazzini, I try and keep really simple because I want to use up the turkey and the things that I have. A lot of times I put peas in it, but I didn't have peas on my table this year, so we're not going to put peas in it. But let's go back to this casserole dish that I've got laid out here, and my cubed turkey. I've gone ahead and cubed up some of that turkey breast. Heather and I ate barely a half a pound of turkey yesterday because we're small portioners, and I think I cooked a 7-pound breast. So half of it I froze. I didn't cook half of the breast. I froze it for another time. And the rest of it we are going to make into leftovers as we go. Here's a great white sauce that I made. Now this is a mushroom white sauce. It started with a roux, a nice blonde roux with milk. Then I put some grated onion and sliced mushrooms right in the sauce. So the sauce, you can see, is kind of thick, right? I don't usually like ploppy sauces. I'm sorry, it's kind of thin. If I do my nappe, you see that the sauce is a little quicker to run back together on the back of the spoon. It's good. And then some cheddar cheese in there. So a basic white sauce, cheddar cheese, the mushrooms, the onions cooked right in the sauce to get the flavor. And then I've got some thyme, sage, black pepper, white pepper, and salt in there. So I'm going to simply put these things together, but there's a trick that I want to show you because normally we use egg noodles for this. I don't have any egg noodles. Is the dish lost? Is Luisa Tetrazzini going to sing my swan song for me? Is it over because the fat lady is singing? No, I have spaghetti. All right, now I know spaghetti is not egg noodles, but I got to make a change, a substitution here, and of course I'm a carefree cook. I would like to show you a magic trick, how to turn spaghetti into egg noodles, and this is the way the trick works. We take a towel. I'm going to put my spaghetti noodles flat on the towel and then wrap them tightly round in the towel. I'm going to bring this to the edge of the counter. Here we go. Let me show you the edge of the counter. And in one motion with this hand, my left hand, I'm going to pull downward over the edge of the counter as quickly as I can. So I'm not pulling the item straight out. I'm pulling downward on the towel. Ready? Ipso facto, everybody say the magic words. Luisa Tetrazzini. Ba-boom. All right, here it is. Notice my arms never left my sleeves the whole time. And now what I have is my nicely cut, let's tilt the camera back for you. There you go. Now what I have is my nicely cut noodles. And these are the things from spaghetti noodles that will take the place of my egg noodles. They will go in the casserole pan dry. Yes, I know. Everybody's wondering right now, Chef Todd, you're putting dry noodles in a casserole pan? Yeah, you know, this is a question thrown at me a lot too, and I see this mistake when people make lasagnas. I see this mistake when you make a tetrazzini or anything with noodles in it. If you cook the noodles first, they're going to be very wet. You're adding so much more moisture to the dish. In our catering company, when we made lasagnas, we never poached, simmered, or boiled the lasagna noodles. They went in the lasagna dry, but we made sure we had a really loose sauce, a really saucy sauce. So that's why I was saying that my sauce, my white sauce here, I made extra loose because I want to take advantage of the gelatinization of starches that my dry tetrazzini noodles it's going to take place. I want, in other words, the dry noodles to have enough liquid to soak up that sauce, right? Okay, so all the sauce in there with the mushrooms, all my bits of turkey. And here comes the fun part. There's no better tool than your hands. And I'm going to break these noodles up even a little more. I know you're saying, Chef Todd, this is not going to work, but I've done it tons of times. And imagine you're in a big production in a hospital or something. We can make tray after tray after tray of this and then put it in the oven and fire it up. Okay, let me rinse my hands a little bit first because now I have decision time to make also. We can add some cheese to the top of this. Very often we'll add some grated cheese. And since I put cheddar cheese in with the sauce, I think I'll use something a little sharper. This is a Locatelli Parmesan, I think. Parmesan. I can add some breadcrumbs to the top of that as well if I would like. But there it is. There's an opportunity to find your towel. There's an opportunity to take all of your leftovers, and you can put the green beans in there if you want, any kind of vegetables that you had. If you want to make it really starchy, you can put the mashed potatoes over top, but I mean, that brings up some other ideas for your leftovers. Go ahead, make like a pot pie. If you have leftover crust from your pies, and I always suggest that you make extra pie dough, because then you can make a shepherd's pie, put the mashed potatoes on top, or some kind of pot pie as well. Turkey chili, turkey sloppy joes do really well. Oh, another favorite thing is the mashed potatoes. If you have leftover mashed potatoes, if you didn't portion by the each, like in the video that I showed you last week, and you just have a big thing of mashed potatoes, mix some egg yolks in with the cold potatoes. I don't know, 1 yolk per pound of potatoes, 2 yolks per pound, it doesn't really matter. Mix an egg yolk in with the potatoes, make little patties, and then saute them or fry them in a little bit of oil on the stove top, and you get mashed potato patties. Of course, you need the egg yolk to keep it together. If you try and just fry mashed potatoes, they'll just fall all apart. Add an egg yolk to them. If you do that, you can warm up the potatoes, put them in a pastry bag, and even cooked potatoes can be done like Duchess potatoes, and pipe them out into little Christmas trees, things like that. Of course, I hope you made a stock with the carcass and you have a lot of turkey soups coming your way, and that's where you throw the vegetables in as well. So the question is going to be what temperature for how long, and I generally put this in a low oven because I want the dry spaghetti to soak up as much of the moisture as possible. So this is only going to be about a 300-degree Fahrenheit oven. What's that, 145 Celsius or so? Always make sure that it's covered also, because think of the effects of heat on food. If I let the moisture evaporate, the noodles are never going to soak it up. So a nice tight cover on this thing. For how long is the next question? And the answer to that is always the same: until it's done. How do I tell when it's done, Chef Todd, is a much better question. Often easily, because it's covered, you can't see. I'm going to shake the pan. I'll take the edge of the pan and shake it. And if there is still liquid in there, I can feel it moving around, it's not done. Pretty much as soon as I shake it and it doesn't move and it's like all solid, then I'll think that the noodles have soaked up all the milk. But I will also peel the foil back and taste it, because you can see this is not a precise thing. If I need to add more milk and put it back in the oven, it's okay. We're roasting in a moist process, soaking up all that moisture, so it's really not going to burn. So thank you, Louisa. Thank you, Louisa Tetrazzini. Thank you, Chef Ernest Abergast, who was most probably in love with her and started naming all the dishes like I did for Heather. Thank you, because it gives us such an opportunity to use our leftovers for the holiday. This is what I'll be having for dinner tonight. It takes simple things out of your pantry like egg noodles or spaghetti, and now you know how to turn spaghetti into shortened egg noodles to cook in your item also. More excitement coming up this weekend. I hope you'll go through your leftovers and create new things. But again, this coming Monday is Cyber Monday, and this is the day, the one day of the year that I try and make the strongest offers I can to make sure that you progress on whatever your cooking goal is. And I can't tell you 3 days early what I've cooked up to offer you this year, but I do want you to be among the first to know what I'm offering. So if you go to webcookingclasses.com/VIP and register there, you'll get the page where the offer will be ahead of time. So if the email systems break down, like I'm being told that they very well may, you will know where the offer is going to appear on Monday. You're at the head of the line. So go to webcookingclasses.com/VIP if you're anxious to know what I've got cooked up for you this year, because you'll have the page, you'll have the URL, and you won't have to worry about emails or crowding or things just crapping out. So remember the opera singer that helped save all our leftovers, and it's Chef Todd Moore reminding you that there's a method to your leftover cooking success, and we'll see you soon.